So it's been a couple weeks, so I am gonna do a slight review, and then I'm going to give just talk a little bit about awareness, and then tell a story, and then we'll have a little meditation, and that should uh, bring us to closure for this week. So, and then I will bring us back, and I'll stop the recording, and we can say Merry Christmas and stuff and talk about it, the class or questions and things. So we've been talking about awareness, how we are in awareness. First, we've talked about it as we're the I am, right? But we are in awareness of being before we are a human. That's what makes us eternal, is our awareness comes, and we are in this human body. And when the human body wears out and goes away, then our awareness of being our divine essence of life moves on, right? Moves on. And understanding this will really help us have a lot of peace and just excitement about our existence, because we're on a continuum of evolution. So I was, as you know, I've been going to tell you a little bit about a revelation that I got, and hopefully it will help you. Of course, I've been dealing with this long haul COVID stuff, and I'm getting like better and better and better all the time. So I was having a little bit of a kickback, and so I was being, I was having my meditation, and I was saying to myself, I am an awareness. My awareness, like it hit me, my awareness doesn't have this condition. My body does, but my human body does, but my awareness doesn't have anything, no deficit. My awareness is all the attributes of divine life that we talk about. Joy, love for life, abundance, wholeness, wellness, wisdom, clarity, knowing. That's our God state. We have the attributes and the essence of life of our creator, of the universe, the God love that we were created from. So that aspect of my eternal being doesn't have a health issue. So I was like, well, then my body will have to line up to the wholeness of that. The more time I spend soaking in my awareness of being, first here in me, but then also where we go into the space, right? Into the universal God love that is in me, is me, and all around me. The more time I spend in that reality, the more that reality can affect my physical being and really help move me into a place of wholeness and wellness, right? And I was like, that's so exciting for me. And this will be way out there for you guys, but I have been doing the practice of disconnecting from my thoughts, right? So if there's no problem to solve, what is there? There's an awareness. So my awareness, I would move my awareness out to the other side of the room, and then have it turn around and look at my human body, right? And at one point I was doing this, and I actually saw myself like I would see a client, and I was actually able to treat myself like I would treat a client. And it was so exciting because it I was better. I felt better, right? So there's so much uh, we trap ourselves inside our body with our awareness, and then we trap ourselves with our mind, which is the catalog of life. But when we can be our awareness without checking in with the mind to verify that what is happening and stuff. So uh, so it was super great. So I have like a picture. So as we spend time in awareness of the divine life and love that we are, and we spend time in awareness of being without thoughts, without making a story, without making a shopping list, without verifying everything with a sentence like we talked before. I can hold up this and you can be like, no, it's a blue sponge. You don't have to say that's a blue sponge. Like, you can see that it is, right? So it's getting away from this constant conversation because we have our unlimited being and then the limited thoughts. So as we spend time in our awareness of being in our eternal God self, we dip our toe in, and I have a bowl of water here. So we dip our toe in and we start spending time, and we start to soak up just a little bit, the water being the awareness, giving, we are always awareness. So the water is allowing, we're allowing our awareness to be, of being, to dominate this little piece of our life, to begin to have an acknowledged presence in our day-to-day moments. So we dip our toe in our meditation, and we sense, wow, I'm in awareness, and we sense the love of divine life, and we feel it in us and all around us, and it affects us because that's what we really are, who and what we really are. And so we can just be okay with that, a little bit of awareness that we have, or we can keep coming back to the well, or the bowl in this case. And we keep coming back and spending 15-20 minutes of our life here, timeline, in the presence of divine life and divine love. And pretty soon we'll become saturated to the point that we're oozing and dripping. And this is the purpose of us. It's not to, it's to bring divine presence into this earthly experience as it flows through our awareness. And then it soaks the area around us, like we talked about. Our energy carries all our thoughts and stuff like that. So as you think about it, every moment that you can drop into awareness and out of your thoughts and out of duality and judgment, and I'm going to just hit that alarm, excuse me. Every time that we can do that, then we'll begin to be permeate, will become actively our divine self more and more and more. So the reality of that, and the truth is that the universe, God, higher power, however you want to call it, is everything and nothing. It's all things that you can see, touch, and experience, and all the space in between. And as we realize that and become aware of it, we're saturated in a unconditional love and an unconditional supporting presence that that is not black or white, is not laws and rules, it's being. And so and we're aspects of this energy. So we're the created aspects of the God energy. So right now, people's brains might be going, and and your brain should be doing that because the mind of man can't receive and conceive the things of God. We can only come to the reality of our divine presence through our awareness, through our God energy, through our divine life force. We cannot come to this awareness through thinking and doing, because thinking and doing are actions of the mind, and the mind is a catalog. So we have to come to this awareness through being, unhooking from our thoughts, unhooking from our mind, and being within in our awareness, and connecting with the awareness without. Same awareness. It's just this is the local awareness of me. And now I'm floating in the divine presence of my creator. So all thoughts, all actions are seen and known because the divine is moving through us, in us, is in every cell in our body already. So we are so deeply loved moment by moment. The more we spend of time in this awareness of being, awareness of learning to stretch out of our body, unhook from the conversation, not validate our life through our mind thought process, then the more we will automatically be what we were intended. We were always intended to be an awareness of God life, so that can flow, a drip like a sponge into the life that we're living, into the world around us, not through telling somebody, but through being. As we be and become, others are drawn into that and affected by the energy of that. So the taking the time to soak in the bath of the divine is really bringing, it's aligning us and tuning us up and returning us to a consciousness of who and what we are eternally and in this body. We have created the lifestyle of living every moment through our thoughts without an awareness of that there's more, that there's larger. It's kind of, when you're in the flow state, it's floaty, there's clarity, there's a knowing, like all is well, I feel great, I return to my youth. Like it's a very beautiful, authentic, wonderful feeling. And that's available to us 24/7 because that's who we are. It's connecting with it so much so that we are never not aware of it. And then we're less aware, and we change the habit of the talking mind, talking, judging, fearful activities of the brain, right? So steeping in our awareness and in this divine love will allow that change to happen organically and completely, and as we go. So that's the first part of my talk. And in our aware state, and when we are allowing ourselves to tap into and float in divine presence, this is where we create. This is where we connect with um, creation, the desires of our heart. This is where we begin to see and understand them. They begin to take form. We spend time in this to get clarity, to get direction. It's all here for us. And birthing ourselves, the life and the dream and the story that is within us to come out, comes from being in this place of weightlessness, of space, of the void of thought and judgment and stuff. And we begin to be open, start to open up to the dreams and desires and passions that are within us. And then they are allowed to, as we spend time with them, begin to move into our life, because we are allowing that by being it, and being aware of it without the use of the senses, right? Without the use of the eyes and ears and stuff like that. We're becoming and being it in our creation place, and then it is allowed to move in our direction. So that said, all of us, everything that we see, that grows, that is a creation, doesn't exist in isolation. So, when we taking an apple, for example, an apple doesn't, we go buy an apple and we eat the apple and we're like, that's an apple. But the life of the apple is much more intricate and much more connected to everything in the universe than we could even imagine. So, for example, that the apple does not come into an expression just boom, an apple. It begins as a potential. It begins as a potential presence inside an apple seed. The apple seed is not the apple. There's the essence of apple resting inside the apple seed. And, the seed falls to the earth at some point, and it may fall in the form of an old apple, let's say that. It falls down, the apple rots, the seed falls into the ground, and the seed is protected and nurtured by the resources from the heavens and the nutrients from the earth. So the seed is there, it sinks, falls upon the earth, maybe sinks in a little bit, and it's still not an apple. It is relying on the resources of heaven and earth to move it along its path, but it knows there's essence of apple in there. So at the perfect combination of nature and nurture, the seed will germinate and it will begin to grow. So it will press its little feet down into the earth, and it will begin to raise its tentacles up to the sky. And it is still not doing this, I'm just an apple, but it is united to the earth and the elements and the heavens. It's and all creations and other planted things around it. It is connected with all of that in its life path. So as it gains strength and as it pushes up through the earth, it's not existing independently or alone. It's growing in the moment with the earth and the sky and the seasons. It's growing. And a moment in time comes, and all of a sudden, the tree is big enough and a bud breaks forth. And it's still not existing alone. It's still not an apple, right? But the essence of apple is there. The dream, the concept of apple is there. The pollinators come, and they come because the seasons have changed, right? And in their delightful gathering of pollen, they fertilize the flower. right? And then the flower dies and a fruit is born. Now we begin to see visually that little bump of apple that's forming. And the tree and the fruit do not exist again all by themselves, but connected to the universe, the elements, everything around them, the trees, the birds, the plants, the bees, right? The wind, all of it. So the sun shines and the rain falls and the seasons roll and the apple grows and it ripens. And the farmer picks the apple and sells it to the grower, the grocer, and the grocer puts it on display, and the human buys the apple and bites into the glory of creation. So nothing stands alone. The apple's life didn't end as it ripened on the tree, right? Uh, if you took the farmer scenario, the farmer is part of the life of the apple, and the grocer is also reaping from the apple, the benefit of the apple, and the human is also reaping from the benefit of the apple and biting into the glory of creation. And if a deer had come along and snatched it off the tree, that deer would be benefiting from the life of the apple and the nutrients of the sun and the earth and the water, everything that went into allowing the dream of the apple to come forth into this material world. It's not the end of the story. So the nutrients and the flavor of the apple bring joy and strength to the eater. And, then the person eats it and they toss the core and the journey begins again. The apple does not live a life of isolation and loneliness. It is part of the living, vibrant, divine flow of creation. It is on purpose. And, the unseen in the seed to the life-giving, it goes from the unseen in the seed to the life-giving experience of the fruit and all who benefit from the birth of the apple. So it starts with a tiny bitty bit of energy called apple inside a hard seed. But it was a journey to come to where we could see the seed and enjoy the fruits of the seed and the life-giving benefits and the joy of eating the apple. So if all things are possible, if we can only believe, the question is not, are all things possible? But the question is, are you possible? And are you the breath of the apple, or your intention, or your desire? Because you may not see the unfolding of the life that is here for you and the fulfillment of your desire, even the full picture of it. But you have to be the breath inside that dream. You have to believe it is possible for that to come to pass. So, in other words, you're the breath of your dream, and your time spent in germination, in being in the elements, in the sun and the earth and the water and the seasons are all important. And there are many connections on this earthly realm that are waiting to participate in what you're birthing. And just like the farmer brings the apple to the store, everyone is benefiting. What you have will move through the steps of benefit to every person. But the apple didn't hang a sign up, I'm for sale, pick me this way. The apple was its being, and the benefits were happening, and the provision and the The birthing to create it, all that was provided to make the apple, the pollinators, everything is there automatically. It is supplied. But we have to believe in the possibility of that, what is inside the seed, inside of our divine heart. We have to believe in that in order to open the door for the process to begin, germinating and growing and evolving. And so that's